To support a nonprofit that is making moves, Real Youth Mentoring is a nonprofit organization that provides support to young men across the United States, teaching them to be better scholars, better leaders, and effective members of the community. Through service, scholarship, and engagement, we address the systemic issues that often plague low-income communities while providing solutions rooted in economics and accountability. Visit our website, www.realyouthmentoring.org, to learn how you can join and learn ways that you can provide support. The change we need is here, and the change we need is now. Become a member and a supporter today. Looking to All right. What's going on, everyone? I hope you guys are doing well today. As always, it's your man, Tim Jackson. Listen, you all, I'm not going to even pretend like I'm not tired like a mug. You guys, I'm probably working off of about 3 hours worth of sleep. I know you guys I got some really good feedback about yesterday's lesson. So, appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure that you share these lessons with people. I also have a YouTube page, you guys, that I do this stuff on. So whenever I post this here, it's showing live on my YouTube page as well as this group. But the YouTube page, I don't really market it yet because I'll eventually start marketing. But for you guys, if you have friends or family members who say, hey, what's this stuff you be talking about? Real solutions. Check out the YouTube page. It's Real Solutions Tim, if you just look that up. But I'll post that as well if I haven't posted. But I hope you guys are doing well. Everything is going well on my end. We're going to talk about 5 credit myths. Okay. So yesterday was pretty cool. We talked about, 5 credit tips that work immediately. But today we're going to talk about 5 credit myths. First things first, you guys, you saw a commercial. I loaded the video up and I actually hit play so it started playing before I even started. So visit www.realyouthmentoring.org. Many of you all who are in this group are donors and supporters of Real Youth Mentoring. We can't say enough. You guys know I don't really like to brag about what we do, but I understand that what we do is paramount in the community. Literally, I've been out all day yesterday, just taking care of business, making sure that, people are squared away during this crazy time that we're living in. So that is the work of Real Youth Mentoring. So I don't really like to talk about it too much because I feel like our actions will speak louder than our words, but let's just say Sam's had to cut your boy off today because I was buying too much water. So I ain't got no problem with that. What's good, Toya? What's good, Toya? I hope everything's going well. Toya, I hope you're having a good day. Did you enjoy yesterday's topic? I know you did. Y'all, I'm looking real scruffy. Y'all know I've been wearing my hair bald for a while, and ain't no barber slipping and sliding through the snow. So I don't even think I brushed my hair today. So it is what it is. Don't hate it. Wait on it. You know what I'm saying? We all struggling right now. But let's dive into the business of the nest, as my old mentor used to say. We're going to talk about some credit myths today. Okay. And what I really want to do is essentially kind of break down some things that we believed about credit that we feel like will help us out and that will benefit us in the long run. But it doesn't really have any benefit to us at all. In fact, in many cases, it could hurt us. All right. So we're going to talk about that today. So first things first, let's talk about negative items are removed when you pay off your debt. You all, I'm starting with this. All right. And here's why I'm starting with this, because a lot of times people will call me and say, Tim, my credit isn't the best. I'm not sure what's going on. I had some struggles back in the day, but I was able to pay them off, and I'm not sure why it didn't come off. The collection agency, listen to my words here. The collection agency told me that, if I paid this off, they would take it off, or they, would remove it, and they never did. And so let's talk about this, because many times whenever you see things that are stuck on your credit, it tends to be from a collection agency. Whenever you default on a loan with a big bank or a big financer, they typically don't, keep that stuff on your credit for a while. They'll collect on you for a while, and then after about a year or two, they'll just charge it to the game. When I say charge to the game, they'll allow it to charge off. Okay, and so then they sell it. They sell it to another creditor, which you don't have obligation to. All right, I'm gonna say that one more time. You don't have obligations to this creditor. And I'm gonna go deep inside of that sooner than later. We're gonna talk about those collection agencies. Let me see. What's good, Jaleesa? So what happens is they'll call you and say, hey, let's make a payment and let's take care of this, and then we can get it off your credit or it'll stop hurting you. You go and you negotiate with the collection agency, which is rule number one, no, don't you ever pay a collection agency. The only time I ever suggest anyone paying a collection agency is if the collection agency is directly related to a medical bill. Because medical, the hospitals, they tend to not do their billing a lot of times, or they don't do their own collections. So many times they'll hire a third-party collection agency to collect on their behalf, but the money goes back to the hospital. You see this very, very common in medical. But if it's like a Capital One card, I'm using them as an example, and they charge it off and then they sell it to, ABC Recovery, you don't owe ABC Recovery a damn thing. You didn't sign a contract with ABC Recovery. Your contract was with Capital One in this scenario. So I would say if you want to do right by them, I just had this conversation less than a week ago with somebody in this group. If you want to do right by them and pay them off, then you will want to reach out to the original creditor and see if there's any way that you can make a payment, possibly to their recoveries department or to the company, the department that handles those late stage collections. And if they say there's nothing we can do, we already sold it, then you can, if you want to reach out to the collections company, I mean, that's on you. I personally wouldn't. If it were me, I can't tell you what to do. But I've seen a lot of times when a person get ready to buy a house, and if their credit is like right on that tip top 640 edge, they'll say, the lender will say, well, just call the collection company and pay it off. And I cringe every time I hear that, but I understand why the lender's doing that. The lender may want to show the underwriter that you're satisfying a debt versus not satisfying a debt. Latoya says, I definitely enjoyed yesterday and I struggle to stay up right now. Hey, listen, I'm struggling to stay up. I'm being on here for 20 minutes tops, I promise y'all. If y'all look in my eyes, I look like I done took a trip to Colorado, California, and back to Colorado at the same time. And then I came back and did this. So y'all can read between the lines. But I do not, whenever you pay those items, it doesn't come off your credit unless you get something in writing that says, we are going to take this off your credit. First things first, don't ever talk to a collection agency. And I'll do a whole show about that. But if they don't have it in writing, they don't have to take it off. Per law, they actually have to keep it on. They do have the discretion to remove it if you guys negotiate something, but typically the law states they have to keep it on. Okay, so negative items are removed when you pay a debt. That's a myth. That is completely false. That is not true. Do not fall for that okie doke. If a person is saying that you owe them money, then you can have a conversation with them and say, hey, listen, I can pay you to remove this item if that's what you feel like is best for you. But if not, you might be just better off just leaving it as is and letting them sell it to somebody else, because that's typically what they do. And it's easier to dispute an item through a collection company than it is to the original creditor, because the collection company doesn't have the original contract and they don't legally, you don't owe them anything. All right, but I'm not going to go deep into that for the third time because that's a whole topic for another day. I'll probably do that tomorrow. All right, let's go to our next myth. All right, it's best to pay off your balance completely as fast as you can. You guys, that's a lie. We talked about this yesterday. Paying your cars down to a zero balance is not what that is. Okay, it doesn't help you build your credit. You got to pay to play, as Jimmy said. So what you need to do is keep a small balance on your card. Don't go over 35% per our conversation on our previous video. But you don't want to pay it down to zero, because then they don't legally have to report anything to you, the credit bureaus. If you have a $500 credit card credit limit, and then you have a $1 balance, that shows that you're using $1 out of 500, which means that your credit utilization, which makes up 30% of your score, is below 1%. And that shows you as being a responsible person with credit. Okay, so you want to make sure, okay, that you leave at least a small balance on those credit cards that you have in constant rotation. Remember yesterday, I believe it was Nikki who asked me, how many cards do you have in rotation? And my response was, I got about 5 cards in rotation. I'm not telling you to go out there and get 5 cards. 2 to 3 is typically what works for you. But if you have cards in rotation to help you build your score, always keep a small balance on them, okay? Definitely pay to play. That's right. That's how credit works, okay? So understand that paying off your card to a zero balance is not going to benefit you as it relates to boosting your credit. Paying your score down below 50, I mean, paying your credit down below 50% and keeping it under 35% will help you, but I don't want you to keep that much money, that much of a balance on your credit card, because now you're paying interest on that. And again, credit is pay to play. All right, let's talk about the next myth. Give me 1 second. It's best to pay off your balance. Oh, that's the first one, my bad, y'all. You should avoid using credit cards at all to have the best score. Lie, 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 lie. There's no way possible for you to have the best score if you're not utilizing your credit cards. In fact, revolving credit is credit. There's a credit card, essentially, the credit that you can, swipe your card or something like that, versus an installment loan, a mortgage, a car note, student loans and stuff like that. That revolving credit is a higher interest rate, but it is more of a risk, which means that it's more of a reward. Okay. If I go out and I purchase a car right now, I'm going to have an installment loan where I pay monthly payments for a specific term. And then once that term ends, they're going to close that account. And that's going to essentially hurt my credit. But if I have a revolving credit card, and that's going to be something that's going to report on a monthly basis as long as I have a balance. The limit is based on what the creditor extends to me. It could be $500, it could be $5,000, hell, it could be $50,000. Okay, but that's going to show creditors that I'm in constant rotation. That's like the phrase of the day: constant rotation, right? That I'm in constant rotation, utilizing credit. Other creditors, when they do those soft credit pools, can see that I have a small balance. So now they're going to come after me. They're going to try to gain my business by offering me credit. It's like my internet's running a little slow. It's a little janky, guys, due to the storms, whatnot. So forgive me if it's a little slow. All right. But you should avoid using credit cards at all to have your best score. Most people who don't use credit cards at all typically don't have any credit, or they'll have like an old loan on their account. Even if they did good by that loan, it's not going to get them, in most cases, to 600. I see Tara's in the on the call right now. Tara has been in auto sales forever. Please feel free to chime in on how important it is in the comments to have revolving credit and how important it is to utilize that credit. So remember, that's a myth, you guys. All right. Let's go to the next one. Debt is safer than credit. Debit is safer than credit at the checkout register. Again, it's a lie. You guys, I swipe my credit card every single day, at least 4 or 5 times a day. If I'm making 4 or 5 transactions, I'm putting it on my credit card. And by the end of the night, or at least by the next day after everything clears, I'm making a payment on that card. So if I charge $100, if I look at my statement, I've charged $100 yesterday. I go online and I make a payment for $99. Okay. Now, throughout the month, I make 20, 30 payments. Okay. And y'all may say, well, damn, you're making all those payments. Why? Because it's a part of the science. The more payments you make, the more it's going to essentially count towards what that lender sees as you being responsible. What's better, 1 payment a month or 25 payments a month? Okay. Or some lenders won't let you make that many payments, but the cards I use, they want that money, right? So now every time I make a payment, leave it at a $1 balance when my loan or when my month closes out, they're not billing me on $100 or $200 or $300. They're billing me on $1. Y'all see what I'm saying? So then that interest is attached to $1. Okay. But because I'm making multiple payments through my credit card, which is coming straight from my debit, and I'm disciplined with it, you guys. You can't say I'm going to charge on my credit card and then I'm going to pay it off the next day, and the next day comes 2 weeks, and 2 weeks becomes, when it's time for your, your bill to come out, you're paying interest on that. Tara says, let me see what Tara says as it relates to having it. She says, less interest will be paid whenever you have credit, better credit. That's what she said. Yes, I do this. So you guys, debit is not safer than credit. In fact, if I can remember a time my sister, someone stole, she either used her credit card, she used her Visa check card, which is the debit, but it gives you an option to run credit. But she used the credit portion. I think she may have used it at a gas station. Somehow they stole it and they ran up credit. So based on the insurance that's applied to those check cards, I think she had a Visa logo. They gave her all her money back. Now, it took a couple of days, but they gave her all her money back because it's a protected transaction. When you use your debit and enter your PIN, you are validating that this is your money, and they can take it right now. And if it's fraud, it's extremely difficult to get them to give you that money back. So for me, I use credit for that purpose and that purpose only, because I know that my transactions are protected. I can recall a time where we bought this printer from this guy online, and he, for all intent and purposes, he seemed like a legit company, decent reviews. He came out to my office, brought the printer, and it just was he was a little janky. So he didn't hook the printer up correctly. We were having issues with it. When I called him back, he was being, a little abrupt with me. And I said, you know what, man, just come get your printer, man. Give me a refund. We can call it a day. You want to charge me some money for your delivery fee? I'm okay with that. So the dude, like he didn't want to, come get the printer. He tried to make it seem like he was scared to come back to the office. You know how they do. And so what I did was I called American Express, and I was like, listen. And fortunately for me, I have an attorney in our office. She typed up a demand letter, and that made him, essentially demanded him to give us a refund. He didn't respond to it. And this all happened within a 24-hour period. And so I sent a demand letter to American Express. I sent all the emails to American Express. The dude I left the dude a bad review, so that he went on my page, my business page, and left a bad review on me and called me a thug, which is code for what. So Google actually took the review off, and American Express gave me my money back. But had I paid him cash or used a debit transaction, I'd have been SOL. That means straight out of luck. Okay. But straight ain't the word I'm looking for. It's a different S word. So I protect my purchases by using a credit card, by paying on whatever it is, essentially right after I swipe the card. And then, paying off, getting the benefit, the best of both worlds. I'm getting my points, I'm getting benefits, I'm getting the credit boost, and I'm not paying any interest on anything outside of $1. You guys, that's the game. We got to learn how to play the game, how it was designed to be played. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So listen, here's one last myth that I'm going to probably talk about for about 5 minutes, because whenever I'm dealing with people trying to build credit, especially young people, this is the first thing that they bring up. Okay. So let me add this to the banners. Utility bills build my credit. Lie, lie, lie to the lie, lie, lie. A utility bill will never, look at me, y'all. Look me in my bloodshot, red, tired, 3 hours of sleep eyes and comprehend what I'm saying. Utility bills do not build credit whatsoever, as the hood chicks say, period, right? They don't. Don't let anybody trick you into thinking that they do. I'll never forget a time, me and my niece, Tara says, it will kill it, but not build it. I'm going to tell you, she's exactly right. If you don't pay them, or if let's say you cut your lights or your cable or phone off and you move to a different location, somebody said period poo, right? If you move to a different location, you don't pay that final bill, they'll put that stuff on there as a collection, and it will kill your credit. But having a utility bill does not build credit. Let me explain why. Let me tell you the story about my niece. So I'll never forget my niece. I think she needed to get a new cell phone. You know that transition period when you're getting off your mama line, I guess. She was getting ready to get a new cell phone or something like that. So we went up to, I think it was like a T-Mobile dealer. And so the guy was like selling her on the phone. He was like, and it builds your credit and does this. And I said, hold on, player. I said, it doesn't build her credit, but okay. He's like, yes, it does. It does build your credit. I said, no, it doesn't. It doesn't build your credit. He says, if you get a phone with us, we're going to build your credit. And I said, well, can you explain to me how you're going to build her credit? How do you report this to the credit bureau every month as a loan? Well, no. Okay. Then how does it build your credit? This is a service, not a loan. You're providing a service, not a loan. Okay. Services do not build your credit. Loans build your credit. A phone company cannot say that you owe them money until they have closed out your bill, if that makes any sense, you guys. and then they can come and collect after you. And collections are different than regular loans. Let me tell you, whenever I lived in Plano, when I first came back from the military, I moved to Plano, loved it. Ended up moving to, I think I moved to a couple places in Plano. They ended up moving back to Dallas County. But the second time I moved back to Plano, when I was in grad school, I got these apartments I was in. I was renting out my house, and so I ended up getting an apartment that was a little bit closer to my son's school and all this stuff. So long story long, I had cable, and I, canceled my cable after my lease was up, and I didn't turn my equipment in. I thought I did, but I didn't. So they sent me some letters. Naturally, I didn't get the letters. It didn't come to my forwarding address or whatever. And so I just so happened to pull my credit one night, and it's like, I have perfect credit, guys. I'm not going in front. Like, my credit is on point. Matter of fact, my credit is the thumbnail for this video. And so it was like, you have one collection. I was like, what? So it didn't drop my score a lot because collections don't kill you too much at all, but it was a stain. And so I looked at it, and it was from Spectrum. And so I reached out to Spectrum like, hey, I'm not understanding why you guys have this collection on my account. They said, well, Mr. Jackson, you never turn your equipment in. I said, well, if I turn this equipment in, are you going to take it off? They said, oh, absolutely. We just want our equipment back. So I went up to Spectrum the next day, dropped it off, got the receipt, and held on it for about a week, and then it was taken off, right? But a utility bill is a service, okay? It's not a loan, all right? Somebody says, try to buy something with a utility bill or child support. You say, ooh, they trying to get with that. You know what I'm saying, man, if you don't get this doggone equipment and going, exactly. So what I learned as I started researching credit, because I used to think that, a lot of people say, well, I pay my light bill on time, I pay my cable bill on time, I pay my cell phone on time. That doesn't mean anything. It's a service, okay? So don't ever allow someone to tell you that getting a utility service with them is going to build your credit. The way a loan works is if it's an installment loan, there's a period, they give you money, you pay the money back in increments, okay? If it's a revolving loan, you swipe your card, there's a balance, they adjust your payment based on what your balance is, you pay it back, it reports your credit. Credit companies have no clue who you have. Do you know from a reporting standpoint how much money it will cost, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax to report that stuff? Now, I know what you guys are going to say, but Tim, Experian has that thing where you can show your light bill, and if you show that you've been paying your light bill on time, you've been showing you pay your cell phone bill on time, then they'll add points to your score. I know, I ain't think what y'all finna say. I know where y'all going with this, okay? Let me explain something to you. That's a caveat to help to get you to sign up for their services, okay? While Experian is doing that, TransUnion and Equifax ain't doing that. And it's a volunteer service. You have to literally create an account, upload your stuff, and go through a process. And then they give you, it's called the credit boost. They'll give you, somebody said Experian credit use, right? They'll give you a couple of, points on your credit. Somebody says another credit union has a program. But think about that. That's a credit union. It's a credit union, right? The word is in the name, right? So they'll have a program where of course, you have all your bank accounts with them. You have all this stuff. And I'm willing to bet that they do it through Experian because they're the ones who do that right now, okay? And even if you do get it added, it's not going to bump your score by 100 points. It's going to give you 15 to 20 points. That's what the average person sees, okay? But what they show you on the commercial, they'll say, wow, I added my credit score and I got a 700 credit score. Well, you had your credit score before was 687. Okay, let's keep it a buck. They didn't tilt the scales. Okay, they didn't put you over the top, immensely. They just added a couple of points. But understand that paying a light bill on time, paying a gas bill on time, paying a water bill, that has zero effect on your credit until you default. All right. So don't let nobody, as we say in the hood, hit a lick on you, pull the okie doke over you, pull the wool over your eyes. My mom would say, that is not how that works. So let's recap these, you all. Let's see. Well, my computer acting super janky today. My computer said, bro, you working off 3 hours of sleep. All right. So negative items are removed when you pay off your debt. Okay, that's a mint. Let me see. Yeah, for some reason when I'm clicking on this stuff, it's not showing, and I can't refresh my screen, so I'll just read them off to you. Uh, it's best to pay your balance completely as fast as you can. Don't do that. Okay, my bad. I'm back. I'm glad y'all still here. Boy, y'all fool with your boy. Thank you so much. All right, so back what I was saying, you guys, get ready to do the recap. Where did my stuff go? Hold on one second, you guys. Hold on one second. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. I still see y'all here. Here we go. All right, so negative items are removed when you pay off your debt. That's a lie. That's not true. That's a myth. Don't believe the hype. It's best to pay off your balances completely as fast as you can. Always leave a few things on there, a few dollars on there, 10, 20 if you can. Never go over 35%. You should avoid using credit cards at all to have the best score. Lie, double lie. You want to use the credit cards as much as you possibly can, but use it like it's cash. Debt is safer than credit as at the checkout register. That's not true. Visa, MasterCard logos, even American Express will protect your purchases from fraud. So that's what we do. We use ours like that. And the last thing, utility bills may build your credit, okay, or build your credit. Super lie. Don't believe that. All right. So those are the myths that I want you all to take away tonight. I want you to ponder on those, and let's talk tomorrow about. Let me see what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. Hold on one second. We're gonna talk about. I want to talk about either disputes or utilization. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll post it and let you guys know. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. You guys have a great night. I'm going to finally give me some rest. It's been real. Let's do it.